Walla Walla Community College pre-trip inspection with Steve Harvey.
The purpose of your pre-trip inspection is to make sure that your rig is in top working condition, that you can identify every part and know when it's not working properly, and have a good step-by-step routine that you do consistently the same way. It prevents breakdowns on the road, makes your truck run more economically, and saves your company money. And most importantly, it puts safety first, which is your number one priority when operating a rig as a professional driver today.
When you approach the truck, front of it, you want to look and make sure that all your windows are clean. There's no illegal stickers. There's nothing leaking underneath, and that the truck isn't leaning one way or the other, which could mean a low tire, bad suspension component, or a shifted load. First, you want to check the lights and reflectors. Check that all external lights and reflectors are clean and working. This would include the front of the vehicle, the headlights, the high beam, the low beam, the turn signals, left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers, and of course you'd check your front clearance lights. On the rear of the vehicle, you'd want to check your left turn signal, your right turn signal, check that your tail lights are working, your four-way flashers, and your brake lights. Clearance lights and reflectors. Check that all reflectors work and are clean. Red on the rear, amber elsewhere. Reflective tape should be 50% on the side, 100% on the rear. In-cab inspections for your emergency and safety equipment. Check for properly charged and rated fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher must be properly stored and secured for testing purposes. Check for spare electrical fuses. If your vehicle does not have fuses, you must mention this to the tester. Locate where the red reflective triangles are stored and check for 3 reflective triangles. This is a requirement of federal law. Your clutch pedal. Engage and release the pedal. Check that it has freedom of movement, does not bind or stick, and does not make any unusual noises. Your service brake pedal. Apply and release. Check that the pedal has freedom of movement, does not bind, and does not make unusual noises. Accelerator pedal. Apply and release the pedal and check that the pedal has freedom of movement and does not stick. Safety start. Check to make sure your parking brake is set. Depress the clutch. Place the gear shift lever in neutral and start the engine. Once you've started your engine, first you want to check to make sure you have oil pressure. Check the oil pressure gauge is working and check that the pressure gauge shows increasing to normal pressure or that the warning light goes off. Your air supply gauge. With the vehicle running, check that the air pressure gauge is working properly. Check the vehicle's air gauge is working properly and that the vehicle has adequate working air supply in the tank reservoir. Your amp meter and voltmeter. Check that the gauges show that the alternator or generator is charging and the warning light is off. Check your heater and defroster mode. Check that the heater fan does work. Check that your air horn and electrical horn work, or we refer to it as your city horn and your country horn. Your windshield should be clean, have no illegal stickers or decals, have no obstructions, and have no damage to the glass. Check that your wiper arms blades are secure and not damaged and operate smoothly. Please demonstrate this by turning on your wipers. Steering wheel. All our trucks have power steering. We're going to start it up, roll the window down, and then we're going to turn it all the way to the left. And we'll look out the window so we can see the wheel, and then we'll turn it just enough to see the wheel move. And it should have no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees in a 20-inch wheel. Your air leak checks. Shut off your engine. Chock your wheels. Place the transmission in neutral or park. Release the tractor protection valve and parking brake. That means you push it in. Fully apply the foot brake and hold for 1 minute. Check that the air gauge to see if the air pressure drops. In a single vehicle, it should drop no more than 3 pounds in 1 minute. In a combination vehicle, which is what we have, it should not drop more than 4 psi in 1 minute. You must tell your tester what the air leak rate is and the type of vehicle you are operating, or you will be immediately disqualified. Low air warning check. Without restarting the engine, turn the key to the on position, battery charge position with the brakes released. Begin fanning the air pressure by pumping the foot pedal. Low air warning, buzzer, light, or flag should activate at 60 pounds or above. Should activate before it drops below 60. You must tell the tester what the low air warning must activate at 60 pounds or above, or you will be immediately disqualified. Tractor protection valve or parking brake. Continue to fan off the air pressure with the brakes released. When pressure drops to 20 to 45 psi on a combination vehicle, the tractor protection valve should close or pop out. On single vehicles, the parking brake should close or pop out when the pressure drops below 20 to 45 psi also. You must tell the tester that the tractor protection valve on a combination vehicle or parking valve brake on a single vehicle will activate between 20 and 45, or you'll be immediately disqualified. Air governor cutout. With the engine running, build air pressure to the governor cutout of 100 to 125 psi. The first 3 air tests, the air leak down check, the low air warning check, and the tractor protection valve or parking brake check, you can be immediately disqualified for. The air governor cutout is 1 point and is now part of the gauge check.
Okay, when you first get in the truck, you'll want to put on your seat belt, or before you move the truck, before your brake check, you'll want to be sure. If you move the truck without your seat belt on, you'll be disqualified immediately.
Brake checks. Trailer hand valve. If equipped, check the trailer brakes by pulling forward and applying the trailer valve only, or engage the hand valve and pull against the trailer brakes. Otherwise, set the trailer brakes and perform the same check. Parking brake. Apply the parking brake only and check that it will hold the vehicle by shifting into a lower gear and gently pulling against the brake. Service brake. Operate and check the service brakes by pulling forward slowly, 2 to 5 miles an hour, and applying the service brake. If you should have hydraulic brakes, you would pump the pedal 3 times and then hold it down for 5 seconds and tell the tester that the brake should not move during those 5 seconds. Engine compartment. Check for fluid leaks on the ground under the engine. Check for puddles or oil, coolant, or fuel. Oil level. Identify on the dipstick is located. Check the oil level within a safe operating range. It must be above the refill mark. Coolant level. Check that the coolant level is in a safe operating range. Inspect the reservoir sight glass and tell the tester that you would remove the radiator cap and check the coolant level. Never attempt to remove the radiator cap on an engine that has been recently running. A verbal explanation of the coolant level is acceptable. Power steering fluid. Identify where the power steering fluid dipstick is located. Check that the power steering fluid is at the proper level. The level must be above the refill mark. A verbal explanation is acceptable. Air compressor. Identify the location of the air compressor and check that the unit is securely mounted. Check for any fluid or air leaks from the compressor and check for missing nuts or bolts. Check the belts. Check the condition of the belt, and they should not be cracked, frayed, too worn, or missing. Check the tension of the belt. It should not deflect more than 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch from the center of the belt. Front suspension. Inspect all suspension parts for each axle on both the power unit and the trailer. Whenever the suspension parts for an axle are different from each other in any way. Check that the leaf springs are not missing, shifted, cracked, broken, and check for broken or distorted coil springs if they have coil springs. Mounts and hangers. Check for cracked or broken spring hangers. Check for missing, damaged, or worn bushings. And check for axle mounting parts that are broken or loose. You should check mounts at each point where they are secured to the vehicle, frame, and axle. U-bolts. Check that the U-bolts are not loose, missing, damaged, cracked, tight, and are securely mounted. Shock absorbers. Check that the shock absorbers are secure, the bolts are tight, there's none missing, and they don't have any leaks. Airbags. This would be an example of something that might be different on another axle that's unique that you would want to check. Check that the air ride suspension has no damage, no leaks, and does not rub against other parts. The front axle. Tires. Check for proper inflation by using a tire gauge or by striking it with a mallet. You will not get credit if you simply kick the tires. Check for cuts, bumps, or abrasion or other damage to the tread or sidewall. Check the valve stems are not missing, broken, damaged, or leaking. Check that the tread depth on the front tires are 4/32 of an inch in all major grooves, and it is wearing smoothly on the steering axle tires, and check that the tread is evenly worn. Rims. Check for dents or damage on the flange. Check that there are no visible cracks or illegal welds on the rim assembly. Hub oil and axle seals. Check that the hub oil, grease seals, and axle seals are not leaking. If the hub axle seal has a removable seal or beauty cap, a verbal explanation will be acceptable. We're also going to check all of the lug nuts and make sure they're all tight, none are missing, and there are no rust trails. Steering box. Check that the steering box is securely mounted to the frame. Check for any missing nuts, bolts, or Carter keys. Check that the power steering fluid leaks, and check that the steering box is not cracked. Steering linkage. I would like you to point to the pitman arm, drag link, idler arm, and tie rod. Check the connecting link arms and rods from the steering box to the wheel are not worn, cracked, bent. Check the joints and sockets are not worn or loose. There is no missing bolts or Carter keys or castle nuts. Driver, fuel, and under vehicle areas. For inspection items located under the vehicle, you will not need to crawl under the vehicle. A verbal explanation will be acceptable. Doors. Check that any doors are not damaged, open and closed securely. You must demonstrate this to the tester by opening and closing it. Check your mirrors, that all mirrors and mirror brackets are securely mounted, properly adjusted, not damaged, and have no loose fittings. Check that the glass is clean and has no illegal stickers. Battery box. Check that the battery box and its covers and door are secure. Fuel tank. Check that all tanks are secure and not shifted. Check that all caps are tight, and check that there are no leaks from any tanks or crossover lines. You'd want to check the tank straps to make sure there is no shiny material that would indicate that one is loose. Drive shaft. Check your drive shaft or your drive line is not bent or cracked, is securely mounted, couplings are free of foreign objects. Exhaust system. Check that the exhaust system is securely mounted and tightly connected. Check that the exhaust system for cracks, holes, and any other signs of exhaust leaks. Frame. On a tractor or a straight truck, check for cracks or bends in the frame. Check for loose or missing bolts. Check for cracks in the cross members. In the service area, you want to check your air lines. Check that the air lines are securely connected on both ends. Check that the air lines are not leaking, cut, cracked, spliced, taped, crimped, or rubbing against other parts. Electrical lines. Check that the electrical lines is securely connected, is not pinched, is not worn from rubbing, no exposed bare, broken, or taped wires. Steel braid should not show through anywhere along the line. Check your deck plate and catwalk. Check that they are solid, clear of object, securely mounted to the tractor. There are no missing bolts. They are all tight. Header board and front end structures. Check that the header board and front end structures is mounted securely to the tractor or trailer, has no loose or missing bolts or mounting brackets. Your coupling system. Check that the trailer is laying flat without a gap on the fifth wheel skid plate. Your release arm. Check that the release arm is in the engaged lock position. The safety latch is engaged. Check that the sliding fifth wheel has no loose or missing pins in the side mechanisms. It is air powered. Check for leaks. Check that the locking pins are fully engaged. Check that the fifth wheel is in properly so that the tractor frame will clear the landing gear during turns. Mounting bolts. Check for loose or missing mounting bolts or nuts. Kingpin and locking jaws. Look for the fifth wheel gap and check that the locking jaws are fully closed around the shank of the kingpin.
On the duals, you only need to check the differences. What is unique or different on the duals is that it has 2 30-seconds in all major grooves instead of 4 30-seconds as you'd had in the front. You want to make sure there is nothing lodged in between, and the tires are not rubbing in between the tires or in between the tires and the frame. You also want to check your grease cap to make sure that you don't have an axle seal leaking. And you would also check your valve stems and your lug nut covers and everything as you did in the front. But you only have to tell you what is different or unique from the other tire you've already checked.
On your mud flaps, check and make sure they are securely mounted, they are not worn or torn, and they hang down to at least the center of the axle. Brakes. Check that hoses are not cut, worn, frayed, rubbing against other parts, leaking, and are securely connected. Brake chambers. Check that the brake chambers are securely mounted, have no cracks or dents, are not leaking. Slack adjusters. Check for broken, loose, or missing parts. Check for brake adjustment. The angle between the push rod and the adjuster arm should be just over 90 degrees when the brakes are released, and not less than 90 degrees when the brakes are applied. When pulled by hand, the brake rod should not move more than 1 inch. That's with your brakes released and your wheels chalked. Brake linings. Check for the brake linings are at least 1/4 of an inch, have no loose or missing parts, are not cracked or broken, and show no signs of oil or grease on the linings. Brake drums. Check them for cracks, grooves, dents, or holes. Check that there are no signs of oil or grease in the brake drum. This would indicate leaking axle seal. If your vehicle has dust covers, just explain this to the tester. Rear suspension. Inspect all suspension parts for each axle on both the power unit and the trailer whenever the suspension parts for an axle are different in any other way. So the only 2 things that usually you'll find that's different that we haven't covered already is airbags, as we covered on the truck. Check that they have no damage, no leaks, and does not rub against other parts. And you also on your trailer will usually have a torque arm. Check that the torsion bars or torque arms or other types of suspension parts have no loose or missing bolts, bushings, or mounting parts. When on your trailer, if you have a header board, you'd want to check it just like you did on your truck, that it is securely mounted to the trailer, has no loose or missing bolts or mounting brackets. Your landing gear, check that it is fully raised, has no missing parts, crank handle is secured, support frame has no structural damage. Trailer frame, check for cracks, holes, or other damage to the frame, cross members, box, and floors. So remember that all trailer frames have has a frame and cross members. Check them both. Doors. Check that the doors and hinges are not damaged, open, close, and latch properly from the outside. And if you have a cargo lift, check that it has no leaking, damaged, or missing parts, is fully retracted, is securely latched. And if you have sliding tandems, check that the locking pins are locked in place and the release arm is secure. Some vehicles will have pintle hooks. When you're doing your pre-trip inspection, you should also check these. Pintle hook is not cracked, broken, or too worn, and check for loose or missing mounting bolts. If you have a truck that has air brakes and a trailer that has electric brakes, you'll want to disconnect breakaway wiring from its connector. Get back in the truck, start the engine, place the transmission in first gear, and drive forward. The truck should not move forward without dragging the trailer tires. If the combination moves forward without dragging the trailer tires, if there are no braking action on 20% or more of the axle, the emergency breakaway is not working correctly. For more information on the Walla Walla Community College Commercial Truck Driver Training, call Steve Harvey at 509-527-3681. Or you can email Steven, steven.harvey, Harvey, at wwcc.edu.